The winner will be determined when one man makes the other say the words, "I quit." Viewer discretion advised. Introducing first.
Kingston knows all about wars with War Beast. At one time faced Brody King when King was here as a member of War Beast, and then coming off of that huge tag team war as he teamed with Homicide as Outlaws Inc. took on War Beast, stood up to the Monsters in a match that had no conclusion, and that has led to this.
Of course, if you want to watch that match, what led to this absolute grudge match, this I Quit match, you can do so with your Amazon Prime subscription. You can do so, of course, at PCWUltra.com on PCW On Demand. Check it out. I promise you it's worth it.
Table to the ring. How on earth are you going to make either of these guys say I quit? But that's what it's all about. Brutalizing your opponent until they've got nothing more to give.
This thing is starting off hot. These two men absolutely hate each other. Eddie Kingston wants no part of it. Just 2 minutes ago, he was acting like the toughest guy in the room. FATU already's got him on his heels.
He's calling for a timeout here, but that's not going to get it done. And again, War Beast as tag team champions, over 1,000 days as champion, but does this give you a better opportunity, Christian Cole, when it's not? All violence is legal in a tag team setting, and you're able to try and divide and conquer, but then again, you're in there with FATU.
FATU is the middle name of both of these men. Violence is the middle name of both of these men. Jacob Violence FATU, Eddie Violence Kingston. Neither men a stranger to a bar fight. And that's exactly how this match has started as they are creeping into the darkness of the PCW Ultratorium. Great job by our cameramen who have gotten quite used to the fact that this thing can spill out anywhere.
Yeah, anything goes. No pinfalls, no submissions, no countouts, no disqualifications. You have to prove that you're the better man and get your opponent to say, I quit. Ultimate in disgrace when you think of these two brawlers going at it. Last time the two teams met, it ended in carnage and chaos. It ended with Outlaws Inc. basically hanging War Beast, looking for more. Not too many people taking a number to get another shot at War Beast.
You know, Todd, I grew up in Oakland, California, in the tough streets of the Bay Area. Jesus Christ, beer flying everywhere. FATU, of course, also residing in the Bay Area. He reminds me of the kids I went to high school with. They weren't much of kids. These were men, 16 and 17, 18, 19, sometimes 20-year-old men in high school, and these Samoans were nothing to mess with. Huge chair shot. A lot of them affiliating with the famous Bloods and Crips of the Bay Area. FATU rubbing elbows with these men over the last 20 years. He is one of the toughest sons of bitches I have ever met, is FATU. But he is in a fight right now with one of the best fighters in this pro wrestling industry, Eddie Kingston.
Kingston, a veteran, absolute brawler, never met a fight he didn't like. And FATU, member of the legendary Samoan dynasty. son of the legendary Tonga Kid, nephew of Rikishi, WWE Hall of Famer. It's in his blood, and you might see some of that blood flow all over the Ultratorium. Back in the ring, and that's somewhat of a surprise. Look out here, Alius!
Alius hit perfectly, center of the ring. Fatu wants to end it now, wants to get that I quit. There will be no pinfall attempts. Referee Jeremy Marcus handling that microphone. Look at Fatu fly! The lungs with no air. Eddie Kingston writhing in pain.
He might not have the oxygen to say the words "I quit" if this continues. The Alius right into that signature splash, a family tradition.
He's not looking for another one here, is he? Look at the eyes and face of Jake Fatu. Instead, going under the ring, looking for some toys to play with. What has he found? Oh my God, it's a steel chair.
War Beast are the PCW Ultra Tag Team Champions, the Defy Wrestling Tag Team Champions, recently the APW Tag Team Champions as well. But this isn't about titles. This is a personal vendetta.
We have watched as this has developed over 2019. We have watched as Jacob Fatu and Eddie Kingston were left with no other choice but to have an I quit match in which one man will be humbled. One man will appear vulnerable when he mutters the words, "I quit," in front of this sold-out crowd in Wilmington. Nearly 2,000 fans here in attendance. One of the most anticipated matches in National. Look at Eddie Kingston biting the ears of Fatu.
Fatu throwing a plethora of chairs into the ring, but that gave Kingston precious time to recuperate. Shot right to the rib cage now of Fatu here by Kingston, who certainly knows all too well how to use weapons, how to use an equalizer, and he's got a whole bunch to choose from right now. A hostile environment here for Kingston.
It sure is. I mean, he comes in, he goes on record on YouTube. You can certainly follow us and subscribe to PCW Ultra's YouTube, and you can see the words of Eddie Kingston. I mean, there's no better way to say it, talking shit about California, trying to put New York on the map. You know, Fatu is a proud Samoan, but he's also a proud West Coast Californian. Fatu really wants to represent not only for PCW Ultra, but it reminds me of that Biggie Tupac East Coast, West Coast rivalry that we saw in the 90s. Hopefully someone doesn't end up dead here.
Excellent point. You saw Kingston setting up those chairs. He's got something diabolical in mind, you gotta believe. Not too many can, oh, look out here. Went to get him up top and it paid off for Fatu. Oh. I guess he's not ready, Christian.
Jeremy Marcus jumping the shark just a bit there, asking if he quits.
Yep, jumped the gun just a little bit.
The gun, excuse me.
And Fatu, though, countered into the power bomb, into that stack of chairs, and now look at this. I don't know if he could say it if he wanted to. A crossface with that ridge of that chair right under the throat could absolutely collapse the larynx.
Eddie Kingston. Oh my God.
As defiant as they come, Eddie Kingston.
I'm sure Jeremy Marcus would like that.
Tell you what, that takes a lot of guts, a lot of balls, quite frankly. You got literally Samoan monster with a chair at your throat.
And remember, even though that right hand was exposed from Eddie Kingston during that choke with the chair, if he tapped out, there would be no end to this match. He has to utter the words, "I quit." And it is a psychological disposition to put your opponent in. To force him, Jesus Christ! And I was gonna say to force him to say the words.
Hold on here. Well, there we go. Turnabout's fair play. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And the faithful
This is why I love Wilmington.
Invested. But how about that? Just bull rushing like a charging defensive tackle. Push Fatu into that table. Fatu's massive back caught that table, the back of his head as well. And it opened the door for Kingston to go to work.
Meanwhile, while you were speaking there, the fans chanting for this great company. As Fatu grabs the rope, certainly not looking for a rope break. Fatu just looking to gain leverage, biting the bottom of the boot. And that soft leather. And
oh, no.
Oh, my God! Disgusting!
Well, talk about sticking your foot in your mouth. And that's one of those disadvantages in this type of environment. You got those bare feet. It's just another exposed area that your opponent can attack.
I tweeted earlier this week that this was one of the 2, maybe 3 matches I was looking forward to the most. Of course, we have that heavyweight title match later on. A dog collar match coming up later on tonight between Homicide and Joseph. But this match, this I Quit match, one of the most anticipated matches of Into the Void.
Man, fueled with hate, the Samoan Werewolf was charging in, met nothing but turnbuckle.
Yeah, speaking of Into the Void, nothing there at all. Look at that measuring. Oh, you can see the sweat exploding off the back of Jake Fatu.
Sickening thud. And no way to defend that chair shot from that position. Vulnerable position for Fatu. And you gotta be impressed that Kingston taking the fight to Fatu.
Jeremy Marcus right there.
What about now? Do you quit? Fuck no!
You can see, it's worth noting that Fatu had his right hand on the rope.
A little fucking late.
Jeremy Marcus not counting to 5, not asking Fatu, or rather not directing his attention to the timekeeper for the bell, not doing anything. No disqualifications here.
No.
Only the words, I quit.
Well, not to mention, fish hooking is illegal everywhere in the MMA cage, in the squared circle, but anything goes here, as Kingston was trying to rearrange the face of Fatu.
What about Lake Arrowhead? Is it illegal there?
I would imagine, especially at Lake Arrowhead. Look out here, in a bad position here. Fatu eats the DDT. No, you didn't do your homework, Kingston. You don't attack the head of a powerful Polynesian.
Kingston trying to call timeout. Fatu's not even listening.
There's certain things in pro wrestling you just don't do. You don't try and powerbomb Billy Kidman, and you don't hit a Samoan in the head.
Jake Fatu switches, comes back, right into your living room. Fatu, full speed.
Shades, right there of his Uncle Umaga, Eki Fatu. Using all his assets, you might say. Fatu drops Kingston. Kingston in trouble. Is that going to do it? Not quite as defiant there, was he, Christian?
Noteworthy that during that last request from Jeremy Marcus, you could hear the wheezing, you could hear the lack of breath in the lungs of Eddie Kingston, who has only moved a little bit since eating the posterior of Fatu. What is that? That's a toolbox. You can hear the metal rattling.
Well, I think, yeah, from the ring crew, there's going to be some heavy metal in there, you got to believe. And talking about headbanging, I think that's exactly what Fatu has in mind. There you go.
Fatu goes back for the chair. All types of metal being brought into this ring. Usually we talk about the hardest part of the ring being the apron or the ring posts. But Fatu bringing in an assortment. What, are you kidding?
Oh, he's got a hammer, you gotta be kidding me. All right, this is crossing the line. I understand that it might just be intimidation tactics here. You might say I quit just to stop from whatever Fatu's got in mind. Look out. Talk about needle-nose pliers.
But look at this. The New York Brawler able to fight out. Smart. Hits Fatu in the nuts. Oh no. And is Eddie Kingston? Eddie Kingston's got his eyes on the toes.
He's going for the toes here. He could take that vertical base right away from the big man. We talked about this being a disadvantage. Fatu countering. He's got that 2-on-1 wrist control. Big headbutt. Drops Kingston. Uh-oh. Maybe time for a little dental work.
Oh no!
He said it.
That's it.
As best he could.
Fatu using those pliers to pinch the tongue of Eddie Kingston. Fatu wins a victory for PCW Ultra. Fatu with the win for the West Coast.
Win for the West Coast and a win for War Beast. Fatu using the tools of the trade. I think he was going to pull his tongue right out of him.
Eddie Kingston barely able to say, "I quit." Eddie Kingston's probably not going to be able to say much of anything. A lacerated tongue after Fatu pulls those tools from underneath the ring, uses them to literally cut through the tongue of Eddie Kingston. Man, this thing got personal.
And the score right now is War Beast 1, Outlaws Inc. nothing, but a chance to tie it up later on as Homicide will represent Outlaws Inc. taking on Joseph, and it will be a dog collar match.